So more than one person has contacted me wanting to see the rest of this. Some good memories here, starting the second half. Tommy ready to kick off here. Start of the third quarter. And it's a close game up until here. They get a decent return up to the 30. One senior I haven't mentioned yet, Mike Blanchard. There on the first contact, 52. So a very strong defensive end. Tom Brophy making the tackle. 2nd and 10. And that's going to hurt. Gary Webb, Mark Danby, Steve Makalinski, all in on that for a loss. Looks like Ostrowski was in that on that too. And we've got a belly waggle pass, nothing doing there. And I don't know what Old Tappan is thinking here. Maybe they're already discouraged. It seems like it. Not getting almost any yardage on the first drive of the second half. So this is the traditional old school Wayne Hills offense, and we start with that opposite. Fullback goes one way, tailback goes the other, which messes up the ISO read, like I said the other day. And it looks like we're going to a double tight end. And quite a lot of space there to run. Some very strong blocking. And it seems like the Old Tappan front here is starting to wane. And there's the fullback right there. And even that little play, that fullback play, which they were shutting down, we're getting some push on now. And that's something we were trained on as linemen, is to dominate the front. You're expected to, as a Wayne Hills lineman, back then, you were expected to dominate your opponent. And if you weren't dominating your opponent up front, you weren't doing your job. And coaches will let you know. Especially Coach Olson, and nobody wanted to have to deal with that. There's AJ having a lot of success right here at the beginning of the second half. And yeah, you can hear the crowd getting into it a little bit. And now we're in the power eye. Looks like there's 1 yard to go for the first. And, huge push. Great block there by Eric Demers on the quick side of the line. Looks like he ran behind Demers and Ostrowski at that time, which was great because we had really both sides of our line were very, very excellent at blocking, and so it's not like we're just running behind a star, or just one side of the line. We had strong blocking all the way up front, and really our team this year, this was the fall of 1998, we took it up another level. And we did that during Coach Riker's, now this was great. I'll finish that thought in a second. But there's Todd Greenberg there. Like I said, he was going to make a huge play, and that was it. And Todd ends up having a fantastic second half on defense as well. But Todd was a childhood friend. We used to play quite a bit on the street, and when he was little, he in elementary school he had some trouble catching, But he was very fast. And then over the years, I mean, I think by the time we were seniors this year, he didn't drop a ball. He was fantastic with his hands. Great extra point. Yeah, and now it's starting to really tilt our way. So I remember defense started getting really fun. We knew we could shut them down. We knew what their plays were based on practice. Coach Scott Santora, we called him Shaggy back then. He had us prepared very well. There's Ostrowski, Makolinski. Looks like more than that, all in the defensive backfield. Todd Greenberg, like I said, in on that. Yeah, you could see the defense getting real pumped up. We were very excited. We were not sure this is where we would end up. And I mean, we were humble coming into this game. I was saying we didn't have Coach Olson the first few games, and we were adjusting to that. We were very used to having him as the director of everything going on, and he'd be on your case if you weren't doing your job. And we kind of had to readjust, and this team in '98 took on a different identity where there was a different, I think the motivation shifted from expecting to do your job externally to internally. And I think it took the program to the next level, in my opinion, because it was the first year that went undefeated in the regular season, and we had to go through this team, which did very well in the division that year, and Ramapo, which was ranked up to 6th in the country with Chris Sims and Greg Toll. And we had to go through both of those teams to be undefeated and become league champs. And we did that with two different head coaches, Scotty Santora, Shaggy as the defensive coordinator, who did an excellent job. He was also our freshman football coach. All right, so now we got pro right, old school, Wayne Hills, fake ISO, 319, we would call that, go around the end. Mark Robinson had so many touchdowns. I think 24 years later, we still have the record for the amount of rushing yards in a season, which is crazy with all the state championships that have come since us. And I think we still have the record for the least amount of rushing yards per game. There's Matt Hawkins coming in. Yeah, and there was a real sense of, a heightened sense of fun. A lot of times playing in these games, it would be a lot of business because you had a job to do. But this turned into just so much fun. And we had plays like that go our way in the second half, which could have easily become another disaster. Get the quarterback getting hit during the throw. There's Gary making sure the refs doing their jobs again, signaling for the fans. And some stuff went our way. And if you look at Old Tappan, they're deflated. Like, maybe a little bit in shock. Um, and I keep saying this in different ways, but it's not like we weren't surprised, because we were happy, very happy to believe we were going to be 5-0 at this point. Mark had some excellent speed, and they're keying on the fullback, so he goes around the end, and nobody's there. Power eye, yeah, it looks like this is downhill. Now this is downhill. I do remember Old Tappan seemingly losing their will to fight, which when we would go against teams, and you got to understand the strategy, part of the strategy, like I said earlier, was domination, right? And if you could dominate your opponent, the idea is eventually they're going to give up or not try, and we would experience that quite often. And it seems like, well, I know for sure because we played Old Tappan later in the year in the state playoffs where they didn't roll over as much as they do right now. And they were much tougher throughout the game. Number 10, Pat Hickerson, 28, Joey Paya. And they're running their offense. Got Michael Strowski there in the background, in the backfield. Now they're just trying whatever. Quarterback around the end. Getting desperate for yardage. And here comes that stretch. And this time, Danby's there right in the backfield, like in a heartbeat. And Old Tappan's punting. Punter makes a great play here, picks it up, but still does not get the first down. Tom Brophy makes an excellent open field tackle. We get the ball back. Very close, I remember. And I'll stop it there and finish it off.